All right. Well, I have the pleasure of welcoming our speaker today, our own Reverend Jackie LaBarre. Welcome, Reverend Jackie, with
Thank you.
a wonderful message. Perfect for
Yes,
today. Thank you.
perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. Oh, it's so great to be here, and welcome to everyone who's here. Um, the talk, my talk title is Interbeing, Divine Connectedness. Interbeing is a term that is attributed to Thich Nhat Hanh for coming up with that term, and we'll get more into that, and we're going to explore that today. There's this concept of oneness that we have. We believe in oneness, that God is omnipresent, that we're all an expression of the divine. The first time I came upon that concept, where I really understood it, was starting to understand what it meant, was I was working with a Native American shaman at what I consider the beginning of my conscious spiritual path. And we went with this concept that we are all one, that we are all related, that whatever you do to one, you do to the whole. And then I came into science of mind, and we teaching this, the omnipresence of the divine, the fact that everything is an expression of the divine, and therefore it is all connected. And that when we realize this, we can cultivate this profound sense of compassion. Because if I understand that whatever I do has an impact all around, whether it's the what is it? I think it's the web of Indira, we're all a jewel in the web, and whatever we do to the web, or the Native American, where the spider is the one who creates all of life. And whatever happens in one part of the web affects the entire web, whatever it is. The more we understand that, the more we have compassion for ourselves and for everyone around us. And we're more likely to act with compassion. We're more likely to act with kindness and consideration for others. And what I found, this term of interbeing, as I looked into it, um, it takes, to me, it takes the concept of oneness, and allows me to just maybe shift my perspective just a little bit and look at it from another perspective, because that's what interbeing is still is oneness, but it's reminding us that we are not separate. I mean, it's the word itself says we are interbeing with everyone else. And there's two of the aspects of it that I want to talk about today are this interconnected of all, that the whole planet is one giant living, breathing cell with all of its parts linked in symbiosis. And when you think about it, our own bodies are a subset of that, because we have within us, we share this piece of machinery, or this piece of flesh that takes us all around and lets us do things and enjoy life and lets us express ourselves, as Greg read, not making an impact on on the environment, just allowing us to be part of that. And and we share that with so many countless other organisms that are within us. That we live in symbiosis with all of those organisms within us, all of the good bacteria, the bad bacteria, the viruses, the everything. And we're a walking community. But you can take that out. You can take that out into your home. You can take that out, your family. You can take it out into the community you live in, all the way to the world. We are each part of this interconnected organism, all living and affecting each other in no matter what. The other aspect of it that it took me a little bit to really get was emptiness. And I'm like, wow, emptiness. How is emptiness a part of interbeing? Well, the way Thich Nhat Hanh talks about it, first he says that for there to be an empty cup, there has to be a cup. You can't have an empty cup if you don't have the cup for it to be empty. And so for us, what we are by emptying ourselves, and what he's talking about in this case is emptying ourselves of any of our permanent separate self, letting go of permanence, that things change, and most importantly, that we are separate from everybody else. And that because as long as I have that impression, as long as my cup is filled with that, if you will, I can do whatever I want. And because I'm separate from you, it's, my life is my life, your life is your life. And on some plane, that's true. But whatever I do affects the whole. And so as Thich Nhat Hanh says in The Art of Living, when we free ourselves from the idea of separateness, we have compassion, we have understanding, and we have the energy to help. It actually gives us energy so that we can do what needs to be done. Do what needs to be done for ourselves, do what needs to be done for our family, for our community, and for the world. And in conjunction with the inner being is mindfulness. When we start being mindful, when we start practicing being fully present and aware in each moment, being in the moment with no judgment or distractions, and we begin to be able to pay attention to our thoughts and feelings and the environment around us. Excuse me. And we can start to connect with the present experience that we're having, not thinking about what has happened, not thinking about what has yet to happen, but staying in the moment where we are more deeply. And that we can start to see the links that we have with others. Now, I found some interesting ways to practice mindfulness because it gives us this heightened awareness of how connected we are to the present. One of them is conscious breathing. Um, Greg led a really wonderful um, meditation this morning before service, where we were breathing and we were consciously breathing. We were breathing in the word when we on the inhale. I invite all of you to just close your eyes and do this. On the inhale, I am love. On the exhale, love I am. And just do that for a moment. And then he then would bring in, I am joy. Joy I am. And then peace. And peace I am. And that's some conscious breathing. That's something that we can each do when we're standing in the grocery line. You don't necessarily have to have your eyes closed. You can just sit there and consciously breathe in, I am love, and breathe out, love I am. And it will affect you and your environment. Another way to practice mindfulness is a walking meditation, which is I was just talking to my sister about this. She has a really hard time meditating at all. And so the suggestion was made to her for a walking meditation. And she goes, what was that? What the heck is that? How can you walk and meditate? So she walks very fast all the time. She's I said, well, first of all, you have to slow down and feel your feet on the ground. And so next time we're together, she's going to be coming up here next month. Next time we're together, we're going to do some walking meditations for her to practice. But that works too. You become very aware of everything around you. And another way to do that would be, um, putting down the phone, becoming fully engaged with whoever or whatever you're doing. Um, and as we do this, our compassion just naturally continues to rise. Excuse me, I gotta catch my breath again. So interbeing and mindfulness together are powerful tools for transformation, for transforming ourselves, remembering that we are that divine connectedness. We are the expression of the divine, as is everyone around us. And as soon as when we shift a judgment, a distraction that we're having, a perception that we have, when we allow ourselves to empty out and become that empty cup, it allows us to be filled with whatever things that we wouldn't even expect. It allows us to see another person from a whole different perspective. It allows us, it gives us permission to take that moment and take that conscious breath. I am love. Love I am. And then I can even change it if I need to. I can say, you are love. Love you are. I can say we are love and love we are. And it can just shift a whole conversation. It can shift a whole experience that you're having. Because when we do this, it reminds us that there is no out there out there. There is no other. It's it's us, and it becomes incumbent on each of us to work to make a difference in this world and seek a deeper connection and purpose. I'm I'm going to give a quote from Ernest Holmes here in a few minutes, but one of the things that I think is so incredible about the time that we're living in right now, with everything that's going on, is we have so much more opportunities. And we have community. We have this community. We have in Connecticut they've got the study group. In Delaware there's a study group, and Greg has a study group in Oslo. We have a group where we can pull some strength from. We can refresh. We can we can find solace in the like-minded thinking, so that we can then go out into the world and be that experience, be that expression of the divine that we want to be. And so what Ernest Holmes says in Can We Talk to God? And I think this is very, very significant as we are talking about this concept of inner being. And this month, we're looking at radical interconnectedness, understanding that we are interconnected no matter what. And here's what Ernest Holmes says: we would defeat the very purpose of life should we live in a continuous state of meditation or prayer, oblivious to the objective world. The practical values of spiritual perception remain latent until objectified. Any attempt to isolate oneself from the world of action is contrary to the order of the universe, therefore futile. That's from Can We Talk to God? Depending on which version of it you have, it's somewhere around page 41. the practical values of spiritual perception remain latent until objectified. We can take all the classes we want. We can go to the workshops. We can do prayer, which is a good thing, anytime. We can do our meditation, and we need to do that to keep that energy up. But if that's all we do, and we ignore what's going on, whether you want to, look at the nightly news or whatever it is, but if we ignore what's going around us, ourselves, then that spiritual perception remains latent. To objectify it means to have a place to use it. And so maybe, what I propose to each of us, myself included, is to find that way of to be that interbeing, to be that divine connection, whatever it may be. It may not be, what I do may not work for you, and what you do may not work for me. But if I find that way to be that positive impact, whether it's volunteering at a school or at a homeless shelter or kitchen, a food pantry, or, or being that kindness, just allowing yourself to be kind and loving no matter what. Just, stand in the grocery line and send out love just as you breathe. I am love, love I am. And it just permeates all through. So I saw a video today, or this week, through the CSL Connection. So for those of you who may not know, a lot of us do, but Centers for Spiritual Living is a global organization. And we have elected leaders, and one of those elected leaders is our spiritual leader for all of CSL Metro. And our current spiritual leader is Reverend Dr. Sonny Cantrell Smith. And Reverend Sonny was invited to come to a gathering on January 20th. And she was a speaker at that. And so I have a video of her talk that she did. It's like 5 minutes or something like that. And Jason's gonna cue it up for us. And what I'd like to do is, after we watch this, I would welcome any input, comments. It had a profound effect on me. Well, you'll see. I'll turn it over to you, Jason.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. As we stand together in this moment of history, the air around us vibrates with a paradox. The ache of division and the hope for unity. This paradox calls us to be faithful in our unique roles as faith leaders and stewards of spiritual truth. Today, I offer a prophetic response to the current state of our nation. This inaugural address that we watched today reminds me we got a hell of a lot of work to do. The founding vision of this nation is a vision of liberty and justice, and equality remains incomplete. As we look around, we see communities burdened by systematic injustice, voices crying out for recognition and dignity, and an earth groaning under the weight of exploration. In such times, our role as faith leaders is not merely to observe, but to act with love and courage and unwavering commitment to truth. To be pastoral in this moment is to remind our communities that they are seen, they are heard, they are valued, and they are held as the beloved. Amid the turmoil, we must offer spaces of healing and refuge where fears can be named and hope rekindled. Let us hold the brokenhearted and affirm the inherent worth of every soul, refusing to allow despair to take root. To be prophetic is to speak truth to power. It is to call out the disparities and injustices that hinder the flourishing of all people. This nation's promise cannot be fulfilled while inequality persists. Let us name these truths boldly, calling all to accountability and transformation, not with condemnation, but with the assurance that justice and mercy walk hand in hand. To protest is to embody the holy discontent of our times. We must stand with those who demand change, amplify the cries of the oppressed and marginalized. Protesting is not just about resistance. It is about creating a pathway to the beloved community where every person is free to thrive. And finally, to be prayerful is to root our actions in the divine with sacred activism. Prayer aligns us with the higher vision of love and unity that transcends human limitation. In our prayers, we claim a future where swords are beaten into plowshares, where reconciliation replaces retribution, where the dream of liberty and justice for all becomes a living reality. Beloveds, the work we have ahead is not easy, but it is holy. In this pivotal moment, let us rise to the challenge. Let us hold the vision of a healed and united nation while doing the necessary work to bring it forth. May our faith fuel our action. May our love be the light that guides the way, because guess what? Love is still the answer.
Still brings tears to
Wow.
my eyes. Yeah,
Wow.
wow. Yeah. I open it up for any comments or anything
Is there
anybody
a
wants to say.
is there a way that we can get that to listen to it again? Can you give us
Mhm.
that
I'll share
information?
that in the chat right now.
Great. Thank you.
It was still brings tears to my eyes.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
probably listened to it about 10 times now.
Yeah. I'm going to listen to it many, many times because it's often just what I need to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Bob, you have your hand up. Hey, Bob, did you go away?
I just unmuted.
Oh, okay.
I lowered my hand first.
Okay.
No, thank you, Jackie, because I think you put the words very eloquently what half the nation is feeling. You know, it was a close election. And, you know, we're divided. And I hear the message that division is a false interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incumbent on each of us to find the unity, you know, and that would be the truth. But I'm not going to go any further with my take on it. I was profoundly affected by her words. I think she did a great job. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know, as I was putting this together and this came across on the CSL communication connection or whatever it's called. And I had several friends of mine say, hey, you got to go listen to this. I did. And to me, that's interbeing. That's what it's paying attention. It's not, it's what How can I empty myself of the separateness that I feel and move forward? And it could just be that I can pray. I can pray for a healing to happen in the nation. I can pray for a healing to happen in my community, in my family, whatever it may be. But I know that what I know, and after listening to Reverend Sony, is I am going to open myself up to what's mine to do. Where am I? What am I to do? So, so if anybody else has any comments or questions, or
I have something I'd like to share.
sure.
While I was listening to her and listening to you today, I realized that most of the time when I see certain faces on TV or in the paper, I think negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to go away. I don't want to see their face. And I'm going to start, I realized listening to you and her today that I can reverse my reaction. And I am going to start looking at that face and saying, I am love.
Mm.
You are love. I am peace. You are peace. And just affirming what I know they truly are. They are incarnations of the one life of spirit. They just don't know it. So I'm going to remind them and remind me that that is not something evil. That is just something that's totally unaware, someone who's totally unaware. And if we are all connected, and I believe we are, then my seeing them and speaking to them and reacting to them in a new way is going to have an effect. It ripples out. I won't see it right then or anything. I may never know it, but that's beside the point. It is mine to do what I can do. So this has been a profound talk today, Reverend Jackie, and sharing that tape. And please, whoever it is that's going to put up the information for us, please do that, because I know I want to listen to it and share it with other people. So I thank you all, everybody who's had anything to do with today. I thank you so much. It's really, really having a deep effect. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandy. Jason posted it in the chat, so you can do a save chat. If you go up to the little three dots at the top of the
I'm
chat
not
box.
seeing it. I've got the chat up and I'm not seeing anything about how to get.
It's not there yet.
Oh, I've got it. Oh, he sent it just to me.
Oh, you need to send it to
I don't know how
everybody.
that happened. Sorry about that.
Because I had sent you I had
Sorry
sent
about
you a
that, all.
message. That's all right. I'm like, I can see it. Why can't you?
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. There you go. Should be, everyone should see it now.
There you go. Now everybody has it. Okay. Anyway, well, I want to thank you all. My voice is really giving out now. So I'm going to turn it back over to Greg. Thank you.